You're watching News 12 in high definition with breaking news.
Good evening, I'm Meredith Anderson. Richard has the night off. We begin tonight with breaking news, a legal challenge for an upcoming election. New at 11, a federal lawsuit is taking aim at Augusta leaders over election date changes for Augusta mayor. The usual vote for mayor happens during the November general election, but this time it was moved to May 20th during the state primary. The American Civil Liberties Union says that change violates the Voting Rights Act. Representative Ernest Smith says the Department of Justice ruled one thing and the Georgia legislature passed the opposite. The lawsuit also says DOJ believes the large amount of black voters are less likely to vote in July than November, calling the change retrogressive. Now a judge will decide who's right in this legal realm. We're working to get the entire lawsuit posted on our website, WRDW.com. If you haven't registered to vote yet, you still have, well, about 59 minutes to get that taken care of. The deadline in Georgia for that upcoming primary election is midnight tonight. News 12's George Lopez spent the evening in Columbia County where candidates went head-to-head in a forum.
That's right, Meredith. Folks in Columbia County will have a chance to vote in a new commissioner and decide if they want to keep their current chairman and school board member. And with the election less than a month away, some say now is the time to figure out who you support.
To come out and meet, see, and listen to the candidates.
That's why Edward Saxon, an undecided voter, came to the forum where 6 men are trying to win votes for the May 20th election.
The chamber does not endorse any candidates. Before
Tammy Shepard's group brought in the candidates looking to lead Columbia County, she talked to me about why this local election should matter to everyone.
Taxes, regulations, infrastructure growth.
Things people will be facing everywhere, but especially here with the new Cyber Command coming to Fort Gordon.
Can you talk to us about your plans to manage the future growth that is expected in our county?
Chairman candidate Jim Bartley answered the question by supporting the Development Authority head, but says term limits would help to give others in the county a chance to serve, but quickly went after his opponent.
The chairman appoints all the board members now. I think the other commissioners should have appointments.
Something the current chair says is inaccurate.
All commissioners do have appointments on all county boards. Each district has an appointment to the committees. Also, there is a 4-year limit on serving.
District 1 candidates were asked the same question. Hafiz Shashadri says TEASE money can pay for growth, while Duncan says the projections he sees won't be covered just with TEASE. And while the school board candidates may have been the last ones to talk, Shepard says they can't be looked over.
They are developing a future workforce, so it is very important.
The hour-and-a-half forum must have been a success because now this voter is closer to his pick.
Tonight helps me begin the process.
While the school board candidates did not draw as much attention, they did disagree on how to fund charter schools. You can read more about that on WRDW.com.
And George, back to tonight's deadline, which is now about 57 minutes away. That's just for Georgia. Voters in South Carolina have much more time.
Right. Primary day in South Carolina is June 10th. And if you want to vote in that election, you'll have to register by May 10th. Like Georgia, you can register online. And if you want to do it in either state, you can check all that out on our website. Just click on the Find It button.
All right. Thanks for that, George. And just a few minutes ago, we did mention voters in Augusta, as it stands now, are set to pick a new mayor in May. Mayor Deke Copenhaver can't run again, and 5 people want his job. News 12 is teaming up with the Augusta-Richmond County Committee for Good Government for a forum Tuesday, May 13th, ahead of the vote on May 20th. We'll be broadcasting it live on our sister station, My 12, at 7 p.m. It's at the Julian Smith Casino Barbecue Pit. Another item on that May 20th ballot, SPLOST 7. Voters will decide if they want a special sales tax to generate around $200 million. Some of that to help the Augusta Riverwalk.
The beauty of the trees and the flowers is beautiful.
It's a popular spot that's about to get a makeover. Georgia Power Crews brought in dumpsters today for cleanup. This week, crews will get to work cutting 30 trees and pruning 250 more. It's all in the name of safety, and the upcoming SPLOST vote could mean added security. The package includes $700,000 to add security cameras. But again, you need to be registered to vote by midnight tonight if you want to weigh in.
We'll take a look at the rest of the work week forecast for you coming up in just a bit. Meredith.
All right, thanks, Shane. Breaking news tonight, the body of a missing 72-year-old woman has been found. Just in the last 10 minutes, Sheriff Bruce Beggs confirmed Shirley Lavender's body was in her car submerged in Fishing Creek near a boat ramp just off Georgia State Route 79 in Lincoln County. She has been missing since April 13th. No word on a cause of death yet tonight, but Sheriff Beggs tells us her body is on the way to the crime lab for an autopsy. Also new at 11, a local hospital in danger of closing for good is still open thanks to a Texas company. The Burke County Hospital was losing money and fast and almost had to shut down a year ago. That's when Community Hospital Corporation started running things. They signed a 3-year deal and get paid $35,000 a month for their service. Tonight, the hospital administrator says the company is finished with its assessment plan for the Burke County Hospital. They plan to present it in about a month. Of course, we'll be watching this for you and we'll be on your side with any updates. Georgia teenagers will soon be able to learn from working. Today, Georgia Governor Nathan Deal signed new legislation creating work-based learning programs. It replaces the current youth apprenticeship program. Students can sign up at their school for approved learning experiences. Schools will have to work with the state's Department of Education, though, to set up those programs. South Carolina is kicking its high school exit exam out the door and replacing it with what they say is more useful. Those exit exams have been in place for 30 years, but now Governor Nikki Haley has signed a new law for a complete overhaul. Next school year, 11th graders will take 2 tests. One will be the ACT, work keys, and the other will be something related to college readiness. Officials hope it'll help kids after graduation. We're on your side tonight with an update to the first round of TB testing at Hepzibah High School. About 10% of students, or 111 of them, spent their morning getting tested. The district's health department's nursing and clinical director says they aren't testing everyone because that could skew the results. If parents think their kids need to be tested, a private doctor can do that. Right now, though, it's just a waiting game, and the director says there is no need to worry.
We're doing everything we possibly can. We want to get everyone treated, and we don't want to cause fear and panic where there's no need for there to be fear and panic.
If a student has been exposed, officials say treatment is easy and effective. The director says the 89 students who did not show up for the test today will get pricked on Wednesday. From the health team, an Aiken woman is having a difficult time finding a place that will accept her new Affordable Care Act prescribed insurance. All she wants to do is find an orthopedic specialist for a knee problem. All she's getting, though, is no in return. She called a representative at healthcare.gov hoping to find a specialist that isn't 80 miles away. Until she hears back, though, she's weighing her options.
It's $53. But it ain't worth $53 if you can't go nowhere to use it. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but if I can't find no doctor that I can go to, I will cancel it.
If you cancel your ACA coverage, they could be fined on your next income tax. The next open enrollment period begins November 15th. Local shop Fleet Feet is taking donations for the One Fund in Boston, with the money going directly to the victims of the Boston Marathon bombing. Today, runners were putting their best running shoe forward. In the area, Fleet Feet has its own run in honor of the twin Boston bombings. While last year's race ended in tragedy, Fleet Feet's operator says this year, runners from all over will take back the day as a victory.
There were, 3 deaths and then 264 injuries, including 14 amputees, and some of them are even out there today. The marathon is 26.2. Obviously, we're not going to do that, so it's just a kind of fun spin on the event.
After the runners headed back from the race in Augusta, they were able to hang out at Fleet Feet. People from across the world laced up today in Boston, and some from right here in our area did the same. There were 16 competitors total from our neck of the woods, including 8 from Augusta, 3 from Evans, 3 from North Augusta, and 2 from Aiken. Everyone who crossed the finish line today is a winner. Coming up on News 12 at 11, we take you to that finish line. Even though the runners were probably exhausted, their Boston strong attitude was certainly their push to the finish. Hear from some of them coming up. Plus, is your internet just not up to your standards? Well, a new option called GIGA Power may soon be available in select cities. One of them, Augusta. How fast it gets up next. The Boston Marathon hit no major bumps today. Crowds of nearly 1 million people helped celebrate the runners and the race. This comes 1 year after the deadly bombings at the finish line. As Alexis Christoforous explains, it was a day to show the true meaning of Boston Strong.
Crowds cheered for nearly 36,000 runners as they headed toward the finish line at the 118th Boston Marathon.
I just felt like a rock star the whole way.
Meb Keflezighi became the first American man to win here in 31 years.
This is beyond running. It's just for Boston. We are resilient. We never gave up.
Rita Jeptu of Kenya repeated as the women's winner and in record time. All of Boston celebrated the return of the race after last year's deadly bombings.
It's like a triumph over adversity.
After the 26.2 miles, some runners needed a helping hand. Others needed to free their feet, and some just wanted to take a seat. But the real winners of this race may just be the city of Boston and its people. Runners say the crowds were bigger and louder than last year, and that kept them going straight through to the finish line.
It got ringing in my ears, the support, the screams of Boston Strong, just unbelievable.
People were being turned away at checkpoints because there's so many people downtown.
Many runners say they plan to be back next year to prove once again they are Boston Strong. Alexis Christoforous, CBS News, Boston.
More than 100 cameras were installed along the marathon route, and around 50 observation points were set up just to keep an eye on the crowd for this year's race. The Pentagon says more than 20,000 people have looked for help through the Defense Department for the Safe Helpline. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel visited a center where sex assault victims get information on the phone and online in his quest to stop sexual assaults in the military. To just go to our Find It button on WRDW.com to find the Safe Helpline link for yourself. As the Army shrinks, young officers are being pushed out. Wars are winding down and Pentagon budgets are dwindling. The service must now shrink to 490,000 by October 2015 and then to 450,000 2 years after that. The Army grew a lot right after 9/11. While there are some retirements and decreased enlistments, the newer members are scared the change could end their careers early. The ability to download 25 songs in 1 second, is now a possibility. AT&T is expanding its UVerse GIGA power internet service to 25 big areas in the nation, and one of the possible spots, Augusta. The internet service is about 10 times faster than today's average broadband speeds. If you need something faster and bigger for your computer, well, GIGA power could soon be coming to a computer near you. In South Korea, searchers dropped a remote-controlled underwater camera to check out the inside of the ferry. Divers are still looking for the 220 people still missing, and they have to come back up every 20 minutes. The U.S.-built camera can be used for 2 to 3 hours. With 86 bodies found so far, families are either awaiting some sort of update or planning a funeral.
As a civilian diver, there must be survivors. No matter what, we must find the air pocket. That's why I have hope.
More than 100 divers are diving into dangerous conditions underwater with strong currents and almost zero visibility. There is still no answer as to why that ferry submerged in the first place. After a California teenager hid in a plane's wheel well for a flight halfway across the Pacific Ocean, a lot of people are wondering how he got through airport security in the first place. Apparently, the 16-year-old got into a fight with his parents, jumped a fence, and got inside a plane to hide. The San Jose airport says they're looking at video surveillance with police to try to find the flaw. Officials say the teen is in okay health right now. A South Carolina mother gets a big surprise on her graduation night. With the new GED in her sights, her son, a specialist in the Army, surprised her as an escort across the stage. She thought he was still in Germany where he's stationed, but of course he couldn't miss his mom's big graduation day. So she got two happy things in one day, her GED and of course the surprise of her son being back.
That's always awesome. All right.